everyone, welcome back to school for the 2020 and 2021 school year here at Bluebell. Bear with me as I'm reading off my papers. Let me introduce myself. I am Concetta Lupo, and I am the very proud principal here at the beautiful Bluebell Elementary School. I can't even begin to tell you how much I love this job. This year is my 7th year here at Bluebell, and I have been in the Wissahickon School District for 17 years. Don't tell anyone how long I've been here. That makes me sound old. I have a few too many degrees, and in September I am starting at Drexel for my social emotional learning certificate. I love learning, and if it has anything to do with children, I will read the book or I will take the classes. That is just who I am. I think that is probably enough about me. Let's get more into 2020 and how rough it's been and how we are totally going to survive this as a school year. As long as we are working together and hanging on together as the fantastic Bluebell team, we are totally going to make it, and it's going to be fun this year at school. So let's see what we're working on this year. So we have safety first. We are going to do our best to keep the children safe and clean. We are cleaning all the high-touch areas repeatedly in the building throughout the course of the day. We have a custodian who is literally walking through the building repeatedly. So he's going to start at one end of the building, clean all the high-touch areas, make it to the end of the building, and then start over again. So all these high-touch areas will be cleaned repeatedly throughout the course of the day. We are also going to be reminding the children to wash their hands and sanitize their hands repeatedly. So many times, but we will save their first layer of skin. But we are going to be washing and cleaning their hands repeatedly. Masks. We are encouraging the children to wear their masks as much as we can. We actually have our HSA by lanyards for the children. So when their masks come off, they're not falling to the floor or anything like that. When they take them off for lunch, K1-2 will still have them on. We'll let 3-4-5 choose if they want to wear a lanyard or not. But we figured it was a good place to have their lanyards. We will be having the children go outside and having recess where they'll be further apart and they can have a break and take their masks off and have them hang on their lanyards. We will have also extra safety procedures for the children who can't wear their masks because of a medical issue. So we have things in place for that as well. Social emotional learning. Academics, you know, are very important to me and very important in the Wissahickon School District, but we are also concerned about the children's mental health. We want to make sure that the children are happy and loving learning in this environment this year. It will be different when we're working, but we are working diligently to make sure the children are enjoying every second. We will have guidance lessons with the children to talk about their emotions. We will have time in the classrooms for the children to discuss how they're feeling, and we'll make sure that we are all accessible to the children if they need to talk to someone. So as I mentioned, this year will be a little bit different. So let me take some time to briefly go over the day and showing and telling you about how the procedures have changed to keep the children safe. So at the arrival, we are only unloading one bus at a time, and the children will be going in 3 different doors. Last year, they just all used to pile into one door. So we're going to spread the kids out. They're coming in 3 different doors, the 2 all-purpose room doors and the 1 main door. Depends on what hallway they have to go down. So that way they'll come through the door that is closest to the hallway that they have to go down. And the children are going directly to their classrooms. Once they get in the classrooms, their desks are 6 feet apart. They'll go in, they'll have their fun activities as they start their day. We will still be taking breaks throughout the course of the day, go noodle and stretch. We'll make sure that the kiddos are always 6 feet apart. They will go outside at some point for recess. Once they're out at recess, they'll be further apart. They can take their masks off, they can run around, we can have fun. When they come back into the building, they will be doing their work. Another point during the day, they can go back outside. We're asking the children to possibly bring in a beach towel, which most beach towels are about 5 feet long. So that way we can spread them out that way and know that we only need to add another foot to spread the kids out. So they'll still be 6 feet apart. And the kiddos can do work outside. We bought tents to give them some shade outside. So they'll be in and out of the building as much as we can. They come back, they get packed up. When we have dismissal, car line will be dismissing from the gym, so the kiddos can sit 6 feet apart in the gym waiting to be called for their ride. And bus lines will be in the classroom. So all children dismissing for buses will be called from their classroom until their bus gets here. Rainy days, of course, will be different, but it's not going to rain around here, is it? Of course not. But if it does rain, we do have some things in place for that. We have the hallways that we can spread out in. We have the gym that we can spread out in. So we have other things that we can do. Virtual kiddos, their day will be the same length as ours, from 8:35 to 3:20, ours being the in-person kids. Virtual kiddos will be synchronous about 90% of the time, so you'll be logging on and off of your computer all day. Sometimes you'll be working with the teacher in a small group, sometimes you'll be working with the teacher with a whole group, and then other times you'll be asked to log off, do an independent activity, do something, maybe write your letters or your words or do your multiplication tables outside with chalk or do something else inside. So that will be your choice, whether you do it inside or outside, and then you log back on. So you'll be on and off your computer throughout the course of the day. So the days may sound a little bit different if you're virtual or in person, but we will make sure that the children are learning the same unit within a page or two of each other. We want to make sure that the children are all learning the same thing. So, without all that being said, you know where I live, you know where you can find me, you know my phone is always attached to me, so I am never more than a phone call or an email away. Thank you for listening to me, and now back to the important things, the teachers. There's going to be a slideshow following this with each of the teachers' faces and their names, so you can actually recognize them and know who's who. Thank you.
Welcome back, Bluebell Sharks. It's time to meet our fabulous staff. In kindergarten, we have Ms. Lee teaching virtually, Mrs. Catcher, Ms. Quigley, and Ms. Coates. In first grade, we have Ms. Kim teaching virtually, Ms. Cooper, Mrs. Valentino teaching virtually, Mrs. Camille, and Mrs. Kappa. In second grade, Ms. Klein is teaching virtually, Mr. DeRusi, Mrs. Neft, and Mrs. Thompson. In third grade, Mrs. Junkin is teaching virtually, Ms. Zavalia, and Mrs. Seidenberger. Our fourth grade teachers are Ms. DeMeglio, Ms. Williams, and Mr. Grande. In fifth grade, we have Mrs. Wendler teaching virtually, Ms. Benowitz, and Mrs. E, also known as Ms. Gallagher. As encore teachers, we have Mrs. Zizik in the library, Ms. Berger, art, Mrs. Dolan, strings, and Mrs. Swillow, music. We also have Mr. Mallory teaching band, Ms. Kane, health and PE, and Mrs. Marin in the library. Our special education teachers include Mrs. Torrance, Mrs. Steinberg, Mrs. King, Ms. Vanderslice, and Mr. McGinty. Our specialists include Ms. McGrath, Ms. Morin, Ms. Miller, and Mrs. Burke. As well as Dr. Byer and Mrs. Johns. Support staff includes Mrs. Wood, Ms. Hood, Mrs. Rollins, and Mrs. Falloon. Additional support staff are Mrs. T and Ms. Interante. Our entire Bluebell staff can't wait to get to know our students and their families. It's going to be a great year at Bluebell.